Welcome to a new Daily Top AskReddit video. Today's topic:
Pizza delivery drivers. What did a person do to end up on the no delivery list? Not a driver but spouse worked at a pizza place. The house wasn't on the ban list, but apparently the wife would always answer the door naked, and the more surprised the driver looked, the higher their tip would be. Pizza workers would warn the new drivers to look as shocked as possible to increase the gratuity. "Oh, that reaction just got you a 35% tip. Well done," they asked nicely, haha. When I showed up, the woman who answered the door was briefly surprised before explaining her young son was autistic and had a habit of ordering pizza without permission. She said she'd tried putting locks on every device they own, but he'd even figured out how to order from the TV. I offered to take the order back and cancel the charge. She asked to be blacklisted from online ordering and said she will do carryout if she ever wants to place an order. My managers didn't know how to do that, but we did make note of the address and to call about the order before making it in the future. IDK how long that lasted after I left the location. I've heard of autistic kids doing odd things, but being so determined to keep ordering pizza is a brand new one. Edit, clarity. Doesn't seem extremely odd to me. He likes pizza, genuinely doesn't understand why they can't order it every day, and is very stubborn. Ran a pizza to a house. Guy answered the door with an armload of laundry and said, "Come put it in the kitchen please." I followed him through the house, walking past the living room where there was a projector playing a gay male orgy on the entire wall, surround sound putting in work. I set the pizza down on the counter and he asked if I wanted to stay and have a slice. I declined. We were told never enter someone's house cause you never know if someone is lying in wait to rob you, so I never did, no matter how much they complained. Thankfully, my manager was as adamant as I was about that rule, having been a driver herself. I got groceries delivered once before COVID and the delivery person told me I was rude because I wouldn't let her come into my house and put my groceries away. To this day I tell this story to people whenever delivery talk comes up, and not one person has ever thought that this would be normal. I once had some kids order a large, eat most of it and stick a dead spider in one of the remaining slices. The boss asked me to drive over and look at it, and it was obvious what they did. The spider looked uncooked, and how did they not notice it when they opened the box? They started to argue and I just drove off. The next weekend, their parents tried to order and we told them why they were on the no delivery list. Hopefully these weren't lenient parents. I was a manager at a pizza shop and had a sheet pizza delivered to a hospital. They claimed there was a cockroach on the pizza. We replaced it and I had the driver pick up the cockroach pizza. It came back with all of the pieces gone except one in the middle with a cockroach on it. I don't know about you, but I wouldn't eat anything that I know a cockroach walked on. We didn't ban them though. It was a large hospital and we couldn't ban them. If I were to get a pizza with a cockroach in it, I wouldn't demand an immediate replacement. I wouldn't order from that place ever again. Not delivery driver, but I worked at pizza place for a while and we had this guy who would order large pizzas then claim they were wrong every single time to get free replacement. He did this maybe 15 times before manager finally caught on and banned him from ordering. The audacity of some people really amazes me sometimes, like did he think nobody would notice the pattern? So 14 is the limit. You might be able to get more mileage if you accept some pizzas in between. Reject 7, take 1, you might get to 20. Not a driver but me and my ex ordered Chinese delivery. After paying the Chinese lady, my small dog ran after her to her car and I said in a stern angry voice for him to get back inside. The lady says, "Oh no, I have to get going." Took me a minute to realize what she said and that she thought I was ordering her to get inside. I never ordered from there again. Oh no, loudly crying. I remember having a grocery shopping delivery during COVID. The delivery driver had just turned to walk down the driveway at the same time my daughter headed upstairs to bed. She'd said to me, "Night, love you," so I naturally responded with the same but in my loud dad voice. The speed in which the delivery driver turned round was amazing. Not quite as amazing as the shocked look on his face. The customer asked me to go inside his house to show me what's wrong with his pizza. He demanded their pizzas be free and keep them because the prep person forgot to put extra cheese on one of them. He snatched up the stack of receipts from my hand as I was trying to find his, so he had all the credit card numbers of everyone I had delivered to that day. When I asked for them back, he said no and threatened to attack me and said he'd tell the police that I attacked him in his home if I don't leave his house. I delivered the second order I had in my car, which was literally the house across the street. Then as I am walking to my car, I call my manager. As it rings, the angry customer walks outside, so I put my phone in my pocket. He throws the receipts of the other orders at me, then stands over me with his fist over my face threatening to kill me if I ever drive in his street again. When I get to the store, the manager tells me that this customer called and said I threatened him and his family, demanding that I get fired. I told my manager that's not what happened. She said she knows, because I didn't hang up my phone when I put it in my pocket. She put him on the no delivery list and told him if he ever calls the store again she'll call the police. Your manager should have reported him to the police when they heard him threaten you. When I was a driver over 20 years ago, there was a Motel 6 that we flat out wouldn't deliver to despite being less than a mile away. 3 different drivers got robbed at gun, knife point in the span of a year before I got there, and that was enough to blacklist it. Only have a couple stories from my time as a driver. One guy offered me weed as payment, fortunately he also had cash, and one lady's order I had to return to the store because she was busy getting arrested in the front yard. Damn, I got mugged at gunpoint on a delivery and my GM put a blanket ban on the entire apartment complex. I went to take an order on the phone and noticed the address was next to an apartment complex that got banned because a driver was mugged. I told them I hoped they had close to exact change because I wouldn't have any cash on me. They cancelled the order. Same number called back again the next night. He was ordering a $5 sandwich and said we needed change for $100. I told him it's store policy to never carry more than $15 in change and to always deposit after a delivery if it was paid in cash. They hung up, called and warned the nearby pizza place about the address, number. Whoever was managing didn't seem to trust my gut. Their driver took the order and was subsequently mugged at gunpoint. That was always my pizza place's policy. Anybody gets robbed and we no longer deliver to that apartment complex. I like to think it made mugging is less likely, because your neighbors would hate you for getting them blacklisted as well. Worked at a pizza place that served a pretty ghetto neighborhood. Drivers kept getting robbed when going there, so they blacklisted the whole neighborhood. One day a gangster comes into the shop and he says he's the big man around there, and he told the GM that his drivers would be safe if they came back and he wanted pizza. We started going back and never had another robbery out there again. The most gangster shit tears of joy. I don't care if this story is true or not, it's by far my favorite in the thread. My dad was a plumber and did some work at a house in a ghetto neighborhood. Long story short, my dad's van got broken into while working at a house. My dad told the guy he had to go buy new tools to finish the job. The gangster was pissed someone would steal in front of his house and sent someone out to find them. My dad said 20 minutes later 2 guys were holding someone by the back of their neck and holding all the tools, and made the guy apologize to my dad. One of the social functions of established gangs is law enforcement. The original Sicilian mafia arose out of ad hoc community enforcement in the absence of regular police and courts to settle disputes. In countryside towns that lacked formal constabulary, local elites responded to banditry by recruiting young men into companies at arms to hunt down thieves and negotiate the return of stolen property in exchange for a pardon for the thieves and a fee from the victims. These companies at arms were often made up of former bandits and criminals, usually the most skilled and violent of them. This saved communities the trouble of training their own policemen, but it may have made the companies at arms more inclined to collude with their former brethren rather than destroy them. Scholars such as Salvatore Lupo have identified these groups as proto-mafia. Not me, but a friend worked at a Domino's. Craziest story she had was when she was delivering to a customer and the customer refused the pizza because she wasn't the usual delivery guy. Now, the usual delivery guy quit his job about a week prior, and she was basically his replacement. Anyways, the customer threw a tantrum, didn't tip, and eventually called the store and ranted about the whole thing being a conspiracy led by J. Patrick Doyle himself, the CEO at the time, to ruin his life, and demanded they rehire the previous guy who he genuinely considered to be his best friend. He then went on about how the pizza was made with tears of sadness and alligator bile. Pretty sure they blocked the guy. Poor dude sounded like he was having a breakdown. This happens surprisingly often in customer service jobs. We had a guy put in a complaint at my work last year that was a paragraph's long rant about how we were helping City Plumbing Company, entirely unrelated to us, a gas station, stalk him, and how we were all in the Illuminati and it's a conspiracy, etc., etc. Schizophrenia, paranoia is real. He would ask the delivery driver to bring the food into the kitchen and set in on the kitchen island. Once there, he would have a conversation with the driver about how hot his daughter looked in her bikini. Would say that he would be ordering pizza later that evening again, and if the driver was interested in coming back with that order, he could have sex with the daughter while he watched from a distance. The first driver that dealt with this ignored it. The second one told the general manager, called the dad and told him that he is banned from ordering from us because of what he was offering to the delivery drivers. Manager should have reported him to the police. That's trafficking his daughter. If she was actually his daughter. I'm doubtful. Anytime someone placed a large order for multiple pies, 10, I knew there was never a tip, so I refused to deliver them. I remember I delivered 10 pizzas to $1 million home. They demanded I set up the pies in the kitchen. I did my best, provided napkins, plates, pepper packets, and received 0 tip. I made up a story and had them permanently banned. They somehow got the ban removed, ordered 10 more pies, and I was told I would be delivering it. I refused, someone else took the order and the same thing happened. The manager finally banned them. Had this when I was doing DoorDash for like a week. 24 pizzas to a Christian school. The place was locked up like Fort Knox, so I had to walk with this massive stack of pizzas until I found an open gate. Then all the doors were locked and I had to wait for someone to come open the door for me because obviously they wouldn't have someone waiting for the pizzas they knew were coming. They walked me through these labyrinthine hallways to set them up in their little pizza party room. Not even a thanks, much less a tip. I was treated more like I was trespassing than helping them out and going above and beyond. Genuinely, the most WTF answer so far.